Welcome into today's broadcast right here at Cog Hill Farm. Now, Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the house for this episode, so here's Jason, Brooke, and our chicken master, Marycarl.
Yo, what is up, guys? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast, and this is episode number 25. And today we're going to talk about an excellent subject, and that is Marycarl has brought some eggs, and she wants to get into eggs and talk about eggs. And what do you got for us tonight?
These are fairy eggs. No, it's not like a little magical fairy came in the nesting box and laid these. Your chickens will sometimes lay these very small eggs. Look at these.
We should have brought a regular egg to compare it
We
to.
should have.
Should have brought a regular egg.
But this one is a little bigger. This is going to be like your normal Bantam egg size, even though this is a fairy egg. And this one's blown. My little chicken Belle got a hold of it and put a crack in it. And then this one was laid just the other day. This is one of the smallest ones I think I've ever seen. I did have one that had a super thick shell that was dark, dark, dark chocolate.
And a full-size chicken laid that egg.
Yes, a full-size chicken. So this is going to be like this hen would normally lay your average size chicken egg. This one too.
Who laid that one?
This blue one?
Uh-huh.
Probably an Americana.
So it came out of the laying
Yes.
area as well.
Where'd you gather this one?
Out of the laying area.
I bet they were like, I wonder if I even laid something.
You reckon?
Well, I thought you were playing a joke on me because I just happened to gather that day and I was like, ooh, it's a fairy egg.
It's a fairy egg.
So, what are we going to talk about?
The different types of eggs. There's 10 different types that I'm going to talk about, but I'm sure there's a lot more than 10. And those weird eggs, you might want to put in the comments.
Okay.
But the main one that I think is really weird, I've never actually had one, thankfully, is a lash egg. It's a pretty much
It's gross.
Yeah, it's a meat spot. A big, like, meat egg shape that's infection. So you don't want lash eggs. Where is it?
Right there. Right there. That's where it starts.
It's pretty much the most disturbing egg. If you find it in your box, you're gonna probably
Freak out.
yeah.
Freak out.
Especially if you were new to chickens, it'd be like
The ultimate
What's it
Yeah.
look like?
gross, nasty, disgusting mess.
The egg's regular and the inside's nasty? Or
no,
what?
it's like a meaty egg.
So the outside's nasty.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's like a meat. It's kind of like a organ.
Oh, really?
That's
organ
I
the
guess
shape
that's
of
what
an
you would
egg.
say. It's kind of like the ones that I have seen pictures of kind of look like, I guess you would describe it as a liver, maybe. Just dehydrated, kind of like. Would you describe it as that, Marycarl?
I think of like a chicken gizzard. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Of being
Well,
like.
I
Okay.
guess I'm saying liver, but I guess I'm thinking gizzard. But how do you get a lash egg? Do you want a lash egg?
No, you do not, and they're actually not even eggs.
What are they?
It's an infection. I can't hear myself in the headphones.
Okay.
And I can hardly hear myself. It's an infection.
Yeah, it's like an infection that's laid as an egg, but it's not even an egg, which is weird. It's the
like-
same shape as an egg,
Uh-huh.
and you do not want to eat this. It's like eating infection. So that's
It's kind of like the accumulation of pus and
Yeah.
tissue.
Y'all started this podcast off right.
Why?
Just going straight into it, ain't you?
Yeah, well, actually, I had printed out the 10 types that we were going to talk about so we
Okay.
would have an order to go by.
Right.
And the first one was not a lash egg, but somebody decided to go
Straight to the lash egg.
gross one.
I
So
gotcha.
that's how we ended up with a lash egg. What do you need to do if your chicken lays a lash egg?
you probably want to give her some sort of
Antibiotic.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she got an
Because
infection.
it's probably an infection of the oviduct. That's like where the eggs are formed. And the lash eggs are going to be shaped like your egg. So you're going to be like, oh, this egg looks weird. And then when you pick it up, it's probably going to be like squishy.
Yeah, it's gross. But it is an indication that your hen has a big time problem.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've never had one.
I was fixing to ask you that.
I really hope I won't ever, but I'm sure it'll probably eventually happen. But
I don't think it's as strange as what you think as far as it happening.
Well, just because we hadn't had one, is that why?
Yeah.
But it is in one of the top 10.
It's like one of the first ones.
It's one of the top 10 types of eggs that you have potential to get. So if you have a lash egg, if you have a veterinarian nearby, may want to
That may specialize in birds like chickens.
If not,
just call your vet anyways. I'm sure they can
Yeah.
ask somebody
because
to look
it's
it up.
it's an infection going on and it needs to be
Yes.
treated.
Or they may give you a general antibiotic.
That's right.
Like penicillin or something like that.
That's right. What's another kind?
Soft shell. Or a no-shell egg.
Have we ever had that?
Oh, yes. It's not the most common thing we have, but they're about...
It's not uncommon either.
No,
Yeah.
we'll probably get 2 in a year, maybe.
And what happens in a soft shell egg?
It's like it doesn't have any shell. The shell just doesn't form on the egg. We actually had one the other day.
This was
And-
weird.
It was very weird. Our goose Pringles, which is one of our favorite geese, had not been acting 100% lately, and she was just walking around, just not honking or swimming or anything.
She was just kind of moping, and
Yeah,
Marycarl and I both could tell something wasn't right.
and then, so we're just standing there. I don't know what we were doing. I think we were cleaning the eggs. And we were just sitting on the barn porch, and Pringles is right next to the barn, just acting terrible.
Just
And
standing
then-
there.
Yeah. And then we look down, and there's something sitting beside her. It's a soft shell egg, and that was her problem.
And it was so strange because a goose egg is not small.
No, they're huge.
And so here was this egg, it was probably about like that, and it was just a wad of goo.
It's like a jellyfish.
It did. It looked like a jellyfish. And Marycarl said, well, there's her problem. and it's caused by what?
Really, calcium deficiency.
Right. That's the number one reason
Yeah.
is calcium deficiency. Our geese pretty much free range. They have access to feed. We do let them go in the coop area. But for whatever reason,
We also have oyster shells freely
Yes.
in there too, and a mineral feeder.
so
Yeah.
who knows what it was caused by. But after she laid that egg, we could immediately see a change in her.
She's just walking around, honking and swimming, and just hanging her head up. She was just like,
And it can happen sometimes when young hens
yeah.
are just beginning to lay.
Right.
And like their body hasn't caught up with their
Yeah.
system's
Yes.
ability
And
to lay that
That's
egg.
kind of what happens with these too, right?
Yeah, it's almost just like the shell shrinks.
But that's usually their first egg of the year,
A pullet that's just
Yeah,
starting to lay,
yeah.
or it could be the end of their cycle.
end of the cycle.
Possibly.
Yep. And you can even have not necessarily a pullet, but every now and then one of your common layers could lay one of
Yes.
these fairy eggs.
This one was a first layer.
Uh-huh.
There's a big old crack in it where Belle had a fun time in the barn. Well, this was a first layer because this is when my Americanas had just started laying. Now they're about 10 months old, I think, maybe a year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're full-fledged laying, and I hadn't gotten a blue one, which is the Americanas. So they hadn't been laying any fairy eggs or small eggs. So it's definitely the beginning of that hen cycle.
Right.
What's another kind?
Incomplete pigment. That's really common.
They
It's-
they describe it as like a printer that's ink cartridge needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And you can really tell it in those colored eggs.
You can.
Is that what you
Yes,
think of, Marycarl?
I do. Those pinkish ones.
Yeah, and they just kind of fade from a light color to a
Yeah.
dark color.
Yep.
And the color just kind of loses its existence overall. And do you know what causes that?
Heat stress.
Yeah, it says a lot of times it can be caused from heat stress or the hens working overtime to keep her body cool, poor nutrition, a viral
Yeah.
infection, and then there's lots of other causes. Just because you see an egg that's not the norm, it doesn't mean that your chickens
No, it could just be
could be anything.
anything, or just a freak thing too.
That lash
Yes.
egg.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That lash egg is the big indicator that you have a problem.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got a problem. with it.
that's one of the weird ones.
Yeah.
Okay. What's another kind?
And this one,
Bumps on the egg.
then that's really common.
Yeah, that's one of your things you're gonna see probably out of 3 dozen eggs, you're at least gonna get one every day.
And what does that cause from?
It might actually be a good thing. Too much calcium. It's just where the calcium buildups just kind of form a bump on the egg.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably get 1 or 2 here and there.
Yeah.
But
Hey, at least you know your hens have got enough calcium, right?
yes, and they're really pretty actually.
They are.
They are pretty.
But sometimes when you're wiping them with something, when you're cleaning them, the bump will come off. Then the egg will start to leak yolk and white.
It forms like a little crack in
Yeah.
that area. So
Yeah, it's a little pressure point.
Now I heard of some people that that sell eggs maybe at the market or the farmer's market or whatever, and they're worried that their customers may not like the looks of
Yes.
that. They'll lightly sand it down too. I've heard of people doing that as well.
This is one of your things that you're going to be proud of when you go to your nesting boxes. It's a double yolker.
A double yolker.
When we have a big egg, we're always like, look, is it going to be a double yolker?
Mm-hmm.
It's your egg that's going to be about this long, and it's going to be real skinny and long. I've not had one in a while.
no, we were just talking about that earlier. How we have not had a double yolker in some time.
But when we do, it's always the big, big, big ones. I think we one time had a triple yolker, didn't we?
I think we did.
Now explain to them what a double yolker is.
It's like
What
It's
does
the
double
egg.
mean?
when 2 eggs enter the oviduct, it'll get combined. They'll and then it'll just
Make that shell.
the shell all binds together. Then there's 2 yolks in the
Two
egg.
yolks in the eggs.
But not
Now-
two whites.
Not 2 whites, 2 yolks.
Yeah.
Now, a common question that I've seen over the years is that can you hatch a double yolker, and do you
Yes.
get 2 chickens when you do that? Yes, you can, but it's extremely
Yes, it's
rare.
like the rarest thing that
but
can happen.
it can happen. And we've tried to hatch a couple of double yolkers, and neither one of them hatched, period.
I've seen a YouTube video of someone
have
trying
you?
to do that a long, long time ago.
But yeah, they can hatch, and you can have. I guess they would be twins, but it's rare. It's really, really rare. Usually, I think you get 1 or none. I think that's basically what it usually amounts to on that. But you can, on rare instances, get 2 chickens out of 1 egg.
Hopefully, it wouldn't be.
Conjoined
Yeah.
twins.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
That would be
that would be
a
bad.
mishap.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if it was a little weirdo chick, like one that was like maybe a modeled silky. Then
Something
you'd have
special?
identical ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something real special.
Yeah.
It does say that it can put stress on them because it can potentially cause vent prolapse.
Yeah, it could tear, damage.
I mean,
because they're big.
They're big,
Yeah,
and
they're big.
they're usually about double size of a normal egg.
Yep.
And the first thing that comes to your mind when you see that is, man, that had to hurt.
Yes, because they're way bigger. I wish we had one to show somebody.
I wish so too.
Yeah.
But,
They're
a matter
big.
of fact, Marycarl and I had already gathered eggs today, and we went back for a second time just
Just to make
hoping
sure.
for a double yolker.
They kind of look like a big duck egg
Yeah,
compared to a normal chicken egg.
Right.
Except it's much longer and it really doesn't have a point or a round end.
Yeah.
It's just weird looking.
yeah.
But you'll be proud of yourself if you have a double
Yes.
yolker.
Right.
It's always, and it seems like, I don't know why I feel this way, but it seems like we used to get a lot of double yolkers.
It does.
It does seem like we used to get a lot of double
You
yolkers.
know what would be funny? If
What?
the button quail laid a double yoker.
Oh, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
You know, I've never seen any other poultry.
We've seen a quail double yoker.
We have?
Yeah, we had several of those when we
Okay.
used to have
I've
the
never
quail.
seen a duck or a goose.
No. If there was a goose, it'd be huge.
That's what I'm saying. I've never seen anything but a chicken, so that's weird.
Yeah.
Well, when we were reading about the different types of eggs today to talk about, I read that in Europe it was so sought after to have a double yolker egg
Really?
that it's become industrialized to raise chickens that lay double yolk eggs on a common occurrence
Wow.
because they're
I
so
might want
sought
one of
after.
those.
Genetics.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. But then you would think, how in the world would they reproduce them if the rate of them hatching's not great? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
That's how they do that.
And they call it, industrial farming.
Yeah. So I
as
guess
far-
that's why. It's just a numbers game. If they got 10,000
they
of them,
just cull the
Yeah.
ones that are not laying the doubles.
Yep.
I don't know.
who knows?
What's another one, Marycarl?
White banded eggs.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I've never heard of, but we get. It's like, let's say you had a brown egg, a dark, deep brown egg. It would be like little white bands on it. And this is caused from where another egg enters the oviduct, and it like kind of combines, and then it does little rings where that other egg combined into that
Mm-hmm.
original.
And also an extra layer of calcium.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's going to be harder in that one spot.
And we do have those from time to time.
We do have those from
Yeah.
time to time.
I didn't ever know that they had a real name,
I didn't either.
yeah.
but white banded egg.
And I've always noticed them on the lighter eggs. I don't think I've ever seen one on a dark brown egg before.
I've seen one
Maybe.
on that pinkish one.
Yeah, that's what I seems to like the.
Yeah, I've seen one
off-white
on
eggs
one
or
of
the pink
the Pendancinka's eggs.
So you have seen one on the dark brown
Yes.
eggs. Huh.
It must be easier to see because the other one that I was talking about, the one that fades, kind of,
Yeah.
the cow.
Yeah.
That's the one I noticed it on. Is that pinkish color one?
Yeah, it must
Yeah.
be easier to see.
It must be
these.
easier
That
for our eyes
one-
to focus on.
It's weird because sometimes they'll like go from a dark pink to really light,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like you dipped it in something and
Exactly.
it dripped.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
looks
I was
But-
going to say.
It's weird because if you get it in water,
Mm-hmm.
the speckles or cloudiness comes off.
Mm-hmm.
Then about 5 minutes later, when it dries,
It's
it'll come
back.
back.
It comes right back. Yep, it's weird. It really is
and that's
weird.
the way I would describe it. It looks like you took a glass of water and you just dipped that egg down in it, and it made that part bright and the rest of it still dull.
Yeah,
So what about the next one?
an egg inside of an egg. I've heard of this a whole lot, but never had one. It's like where this, for example, would be inside of this. It just had to be a bigger egg with a little egg inside of it.
Yep, and if you search it, you will find them, and it is really, really strange.
It said
You'd be like cracking and be like, why is
Another
the yolk
egg.
hard?
Mhm.
it's
That's
not
another
very
shit.
common, but it can happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just that it's just it joins itself and it goes in
Yeah,
weird happenings.
inside the chicken,
So-
where one egg got inside the other one, and then it just formed a shell.
You might have to blow that one if you got one, right?
Yeah, and then like glue it and cut one of them in half, and then like make it look
But
like
the
it's
thing
still
is, you
inside
wouldn't
of
even
it.
know it until you try to
No,
crack
it would be
Yeah.
non-existent anymore
It'd be
after you
like-
cracked it.
What?
Unless,
wish I
unless
had
it
cracked-
rattled.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it
don't know
could
if it
rattle.
would.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's got like liquid in between the
it
two.
might.
If any of you guys have had that or seen it, let us know in the comments if it rattles or if you can tell that you have an egg inside an egg.
Because that's
You'll know.
a weird happening.
And as many eggs we have collected in 12 or 13 years, we have never, ever had one.
We can't say that though because we don't eat them all. So if it
That's
is not
true.
visible,
That's true.
we wouldn't know it.
One of
That's
our
true.
customers probably got one. It's
You would think one of our
"What's
customers would have said
this?"
something, though. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Could have been one of those customers, you get with them and they buy eggs for a few weeks or months and then they just stop. So maybe they got an egg inside an egg.
Well, I wish they'd let us know because
I wish they let us know.
I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, what about that time that person quit buying them after we told them we were going to get crickets for the chickens?
Oh, yeah. We do
Yeah, we
from
did.
time to time go and get crickets. It's called cricket football.
Yeah, that's what we call it. We turn the cricket loose, and then, of course, the chickens love the crickets. And
Don't
They-
catch them all.
Oh, they all go everywhere, and it's such a fun thing to do to release the crickets and watch your chickens go after them.
this it's good for them, but
Oh,
we
it's
had a
good for 'em.
customer that
Didn't like that
found
idea.
out that didn't like that they were eating the eggs, and so they stopped buying.
Well, I said we were over this way anyway because we were going over to the curb market to buy some crickets to feed to the chickens, and
That was
boop,
it.
that was it.
That was it.
No more buying eggs.
I wonder what they would think about the grub terra and the
I
black
don't-
soldier flies where we feed them,
I don't know.
because
I
they
don't-
love that grub
I
terra.
mean, it's good for them. It's
Yep.
good for their diet. It's good for protein.
Well, that's
It's-
what they normally eat.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
what
That's
they.
what they normally eat. I mean, they don't tell how many bugs ours eat because they free range.
That's right.
Since
no
we let
telling.
ours out, it's been crazy. They've been all up in the woods, and now he like
Yeah, they stay
them
in the
scratching.
woods.
And I've noticed a difference in the color of the
Oh,
yolks
the
too.
yolks start getting so rich and deep.
Matter of fact, we had omelet tonight
Sure
for dinner.
did. It was delicious too.
I didn't have an egg inside of an egg though.
No, or a double yolker.
Oh nope.
Two of our hens that are like free range machines, which is goat
Mm,
and Wilhelmina, and they're always in the woods on
always.
just up on a hill scratching. You can hear them. It's like
But you know what's funny about goat? Goat is our most popular neck and neck, and my battery's fixing to go dead.
Oh no.
I got another one.
There's two up here. Is this one of them?
No, I got one down here though. We'll swap it out one because we're fixing to reset the camera anyway. It's not
Okay.
swap it in. But goat is our most popular neck and neck. If y'all follow our channel, y'all know who goat is. You know what's crazy about goat? She can be non-existent and you not see her, but let us start working on something that deals with woods or cutting bushes or pulling up stuff or
Oh,
digging.
she's all up in the way.
She is there in an instant. I mean, she's like a Marvel superhero.
It's
She's
almost like
Wanda,
you know-
or Vision. I mean, she's just boom, and she's there,
she's like, I'm here to eat the bugs.
just out of nowhere.
she's looking for worms or a area to scratch that's been undiscovered.
She's
and
like a chicken ninja.
she's got brains though, doesn't she?
She does got brains.
She's probably our smartest chicken.
And she's the only one that does that too.
Yeah.
If you better believe, if we're working outside and we're doing something that includes digging or pulling up bushes or cutting bushes or
It also
moving stuff
includes
around,
goat.
she is right up under you
You're right.
instantly.
I wonder if it's a social thing or if she's brain thinking they're fixing to uncover.
I think that's what it is. I think it's just instinct. She's just got
Yeah.
a strong instinct and knows that when we start moving stuff around, there's going to be grubs, worms, bugs, beetles, crickets, grasshoppers.
But she doesn't
all
tell her
kinda
friends either
She don't let nobody know.
because she's the only one that stays there.
She
Nobody
wants
follows
that
her.
all-you-can-eat buffet for herself.
And you know, the whole time we had the chickens locked up, who do y'all think wanted to come out the
Oh,
most?
man,
She
she
escaped several times.
was just,
She was busting it,
ooh,
wanting to come out.
ooh. All right,
And I
let me-
kind of hated to keep her locked up, but you know,
yeah, I know. But they're all going up now. Every
they are.
night
They are
going up.
All right, swap your battery. So all the chickens are going up.
Oh, yeah, they're all going up, so which is
Yeah.
wonderful.
It is wonderful.
Just only took 5 weeks, but we got it.
Well, you know, at least it was during high production of egg season time because we had so many eggs for a week there that we didn't know what we were going to do with them.
Yeah.
But we have enough customers that want eggs, and it just so happened to have fell right at Easter where everybody's
everybody.
wanting eggs.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, can I get 3 dozen eggs? And we're turning people away because we don't have
We
any.
don't have any. Yep.
It's pretty good, I guess you would say, when you don't have enough eggs to meet the demand.
That's right.
Marycarl thinks that means more chickens. But
No. That's definitely no ducks.
Oh, there were some ducks at the feast when I was like, look at that one. It's black and white.
what'd I tell you?
No.
I
No.
said keep walking.
Keep walking.
Keep
You
walking.
can't help but watch them.
Well, you can watch
can
them all
watch
you
'em.
want. You can love them all you want, but love them at
At the
their
feed
place.
store.
That's right.
You know how many
Has-
ducks we got?
How long has it been since we gathered a half a dozen duck eggs that we could eat?
Oh,
A long time.
A long time.
But
So
it's because
basically,
they don't lay in a specific spot. It's just like
Exactly.
they lay. I think it's when they sleep they lay eggs because they're all in the middle of the road in the morning. Then Peaches comes along and eats them.
well, they're not giving anything back to us. That's for sure.
Nothing
Yeah.
back.
We like a duck egg in our cornbread, and they don't even produce for that.
Nope.
Because if I were to gather one that had been in the middle of the road, I don't know how long it's possibly been there, or if something rolled it over there, or how it got there.
What's funny is our livestock guardian dog, Foxy. She gathers those eggs and takes them up kind of in the turnaround spot where we turn around the cars up at the house. And there'll be little eggs laying there, and I'll be like, oh, this
She's an
looks
egg thief.
interesting.
She
And I'll
is an
grab
egg
it.
thief.
It'll be super light. I'll turn it over, and there's a little hole where she's very gently made a little hole, and then she slurps the stuff out of the middle.
I watched her today.
You watched her do it?
I watched her. Bear was near her,
Uh-huh.
and she had a duck egg that she had found. And, I can't get on to her because she found it. And,
Oh, yeah, there's nothing you can do.
we're not going to do it. She doesn't go in the chicken coop and
Nope.
get in the nesting boxes. It's random duck eggs.
And it's actually good, so we won't have rotten eggs everywhere.
That's right.
Or a possum or a raccoon.
So she's got the duck egg, and she's got it laying in between her paws like this. And Foxy, she has the prettiest little face,
She
and
does.
she's so innocent looking, but she's got that egg, and she's going, "Arr." Nobody's trying to get it. Nobody's messing with her, but she's going to let you know that's her egg. So I stayed away. She wasn't growling at me anyway,
Right.
but Bear was nearby, and
Right.
she was letting him know that was her egg. I told Marycarl, I said, come here and watch her. And we watched her for a minute, and she gently would take that egg and kind of tap it on the ground to where she didn't bust it all the way. She's real careful about how she opens
Well,
it.
she knows it. I guess she's learned it. If she breaks it, then
It's
all the
gone.
goodie goes on the ground.
And then all the chickens come a running like,
That's right. And she was letting everybody know all the while, this is her egg. So gentle did she crack it on the ground.
That's pretty cool.
It was. I mean, I hate to see a dog eating eggs because you feel like that's your eggs. You've fed them, you've taken care of. They're nowhere to be found. We can't eat them. We can't
Right,
do anything
right,
with
right,
them.
right.
So, what are we to do? What are we to do?
Let
But
her have it.
she enjoys finding eggs, and she also keeps the population of ducks down.
She needs to do a better job.
She does a really good job, doesn't she, Marycarl?
yeah, you know what I've noticed? There's a lot of female mallards missing.
Yeah.
A lot. That means it's mallard breeding season and sitting season.
Well, there's a pair in the garden that made a nest in the carrots. Every morning, it's a male and female. He sits right
Yeah.
beside her.
Well, we
Does
knew
she
it had
lay
been in there,
egg?
but we didn't know she was laying or not.
She's sitting. There's no eggs in there, but she's sitting in there every morning.
They sit in there throughout the day too, and then when the shade is gone out of the garden, they fly out.
Huh.
So I think they're just in there utilizing the shade.
Oh,
Well,
our
they're in there a
ducks,
lot.
they hunt for some shade. They'll get up under the fig tree, and whenever the light's not on the
Uh-huh.
fig tree, then when the light comes to the fig tree, they'll move maybe to the river birch.
They're smart, aren't they?
Yeah, they just move with it.
I have a feeling though, in the next week or so, that those women,
The mallard population's gonna rise.
I have a feeling they're going to emerge from the woodwork because we have not seen many of them. Have you
It's a
not
whole
noticed it?
bunch of males.
I mean, they're all missing.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of males and the females are missing.
I don't know.
So
I just know we got 500 ducks.
Yeah.
501. What other kind of eggs
Actually,
are
it's
there?
like 502 now because 2 Muscovies may or may not have hatched. 3, 4,
Well,
actually 4.
I can see the fire coming out of your daddy's ears. So why don't you tell about the last 2 types of eggs that we are going to talk about?
Okay. Speckled eggs, I get those like really regularly. It's pretty much just an egg that has speckles on it,
Mhm.
which you really want in your basket because it's pretty. They're really pretty in one of those clear cartons. Wilhelmina is our Easter egg, and she lays some pretty green eggs with brown speckles. It's just kind of like,
But you know what I think that they're referring to? I think they're not referring to, I may be wrong. I think they're not referring to a green egg with brown speckles like Wilhelmina lays. I think they're referring to an egg that has those bumps all over it.
No, we did a bumpy egg.
Oh.
Yeah, we did the bumpy egg
It's
already.
like a brown egg that's gonna have white spots on it, which
Yeah.
that's
Oh, like
Oh.
Wilhelmina's egg.
yeah,
Okay.
Wilhelmina's egg, it looks like a turkey egg.
it does. Turkey eggs are speckled. They're white with brown spots.
But Wilhelmina's is green with brown spots every time. And
Yeah,
what
it
causes
is.
what causes that? Does it say?
It's extra calcium
Okay.
deposits. But I just don't think that Wilhelmina's is calcium deposit.
No, I think it's just their egg.
I think
It's
that's her egg
raised
color.
up though.
Is it?
It's not flush. It's
Yeah.
got a little texture to it. So I can see that.
Well,
It might be because she eats so many bugs
She
and stuff.
stays
She
in the
lives
woods
in the
now.
woods.
those bumps, when we are cartoning eggs from time to time, you can see a little raised up spot. And if you were to think it's a speck of dirt and try to get it off,
Yeah.
It'll bust.
it'll
Yeah.
bust the egg. It cracks.
The other day I was cleaning them, and I think it was like 2 weeks ago, more like it. And I was wearing shorts and a very absorbent shirt, and I'm just sitting there cleaning eggs, and then pow, an egg busts, and it's all over me. So then it's gooey, and it
you-
hardens.
Did you try to get a speck off of an egg? Is that what
Yes,
happened?
that's exactly what
Oh.
happened.
So you know all about those speckled eggs.
Yeah,
And you don't try to get the specks off anymore,
it's
do you?
actually a bumpy egg.
It was a bumpy egg.
Oh, it wasn't a speckled egg. It was a bumpy egg.
Mm.
Okay.
Odd shaped eggs.
That's
This
number
is-
10.
Yeah, this is like a odd shaped egg. It's just a odd shaped egg.
We get them from every now and then.
Yeah, sometimes they'll be like super duper duper pointy.
Yep, super
And-
pointy. Then we have them that kind of wavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are cool.
Those are cool.
They are.
I tell you the ones that are really cool. It looks like it was two bottoms put together. So it's kind of
Yeah, it's
almost
both
like
rounded ends.
almost like a number. Like if you looked at it right, you could make a number 8 out of it
Yeah.
almost.
Or you
Or-
could have them with a point, super pointy end.
Yeah.
If you tried to hatch that had the super
Yeah.
rounded ends, you wouldn't know which end's the pointed and which one's the rounded.
So you may have the air pocket in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, it could happen in a very young hen, or it could also happen in a very old hen.
Yeah.
That their
Yes.
shape,
Shapes change
just
it.
kind of gets kind of weird for a cycle or two, and
And I guess that's just something that happens inside the.
inside when
Yeah.
it's that's it, isn't it?
Yep.
It says that in rare diseases,
Uh-huh.
in chickens, it can cause an abnormal shape.
Okay. That could
But-
make it irregular.
Yeah,
I got
but
you.
I think unless you had that happen over and over and over
Yeah,
again, you
I
probably
wouldn't worry about it.
cause any concern.
I don't think that'd be a big deal. And we get those every now and then too. Them
Yeah.
crazy shapes.
Yeah.
It's really cool to get the super pointed ones because you can spot them right off the bat.
Yeah.
It looks like a
"Oh,
rocket.
Look at the pointy egg.
It seems like they're mostly white.
They do, don't they?
Yes. The Polishes, they lay these super duper long eggs.
They do.
They
They're-
do.
All their eggs are always the same shape. All the Polishes.
The
I'm like,
Polish
"Oh,
egg
that's a Polish
reminds me
egg."
of the turkey egg shape.
Yeah, it kind of
It does. It's that
Yeah.
teardrop shape.
Very distinct teardrop shape.
Yeah.
It's not like your Rhode Island red or something that has the typical oval egg shape.
Yeah.
Somebody's tapping out.
Okay.
She's just a tapping on my leg saying she's finished.
She's ready.
She's finished with her podcast. She's done.
Done.
We enjoyed your egg cast.
It
Not
was,
a
it was
podcast.
excellent. That's my dad joke.
It's not working. Or maybe it is.
My dad joke.
You got her turned off?
I got her turned off. I can do it easily now with our new setup.
All right. Speaking of eggs,
Yes.
our turkeys are laying eggs.
Our turkeys are laying eggs, and the last time I checked, there were 2 in incubators. Or more than that in there now? Maybe.
Well, Thomas was showing interest in the girls.
Right.
And so we put them in the dog kennel together because the girls were wanting us to
Yeah.
be
They were-
friends with them.
They were wanting
A husband.
a husband.
So we decided to put them in the dog kennel together.
Mm-hmm.
And upon doing so, initially we didn't see much activity. But as a couple of days passed, there was an egg.
Wow.
And Thomas was strutting and courting the hens.
Thomas has been dancing and strutting and drumming and gobbling like he's a crazed wild man.
As a matter of fact, this morning, as soon as I opened the door to go out and feed,
Yeah, he's worse than Scott. Now, Scott, it's peacock season too. Scott, what's crazy about him is, and I think Thomas is the same way, but any type of loud noise triggers it.
yes,
Especially Scott, because he screams.
he is loud. And
So loud.
to me, that catches your attention more so than a gobbling turkey does.
Yeah.
So therefore, you probably don't realize that Thomas is gobbling as much as he is.
Yep.
Because when Scott, I don't know what you call it,
I call it he screams. That's what it sounds like
when
to me.
Scott calls or whatever he does, it
If
just catches your attention.
It is, because it is really, really loud. And I think they say that you can hear it off to
Never Neverland.
like 2 miles away, maybe. It's crazy. But yeah, he's very vocal. And when we crank the tractor, he does it. When you open the tailgate or shut the tailgate, he does it. If any type of loud noise, like if a hickory nut hits the tin roof, it triggers him to do it.
I
And
wonder if
don't
he's
know
telling the
why.
ladies that danger's near.
It's not really a danger call, is it? I mean, maybe it
I don't
is.
know.
I don't know. But loud noises will trigger it almost every time. If you crank that tractor up, he's going to holler. What's funny is the video that came out yesterday about Nugget and the GoPro.
That was today.
This podcast will be the next day. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Spoiled that one, didn't I?
But he'll you crank your tractor up, and you're a long ways away from him. But as soon as you crank that tractor up, he starts hollering. You go, "There's Scott," and yeah. he does it every time.
Every time.
Every time.
And I don't think Thomas is that on it as far as noises
Maybe
are
not.
concerned.
Maybe not. Even if you honk the horn, it'll trigger Scott.
It will. And it's always been that way.
And it's only during breeding season. If it's not breeding season,
Oh, you don't hear from him.
you don't hear a word out of him. It don't matter what kind of noise is made.
As a matter of fact, when the first time this season that he made that sound, we were like,
Yeah.
because we had not heard
Haven't
it in
a
so
while.
long that when you hear it again, you really don't miss it when it goes away.
Yeah.
But when it comes, you're like, there it is. It's kind of a,
Well, I will say this. To me, it's not as, and maybe because it's early in the season, maybe. But usually to me, it's, in my videos in years past, I could not almost finish a video because he would be hollering so much.
maybe
And
he's more settled down in his old man
I
age.
don't know. Maybe his tail was so little and he compensated with the loud noise
You
and
think?
hollering. But now his tail is just unbelievable.
I don't have to show out anymore.
No, I don't have to yell to attract the women. I can just show them this beautiful tail I got.
This afternoon when I was feeding the goats, Marycarl said, "Mama, look!" And I looked up, and of course he's showing out in
Yeah.
the middle of the road. That's his
Thing.
his place.
Yes,
Is in the
here
middle of the
recently.
road. He just stands in the middle of our
And
driveway.
if you're driving, he's not going to get out the way.
Oh no!
I mean, you have
can
to
bump him.
inch and inch and inch and inch. If you honk the horn, he may holler or scream, and you inch, and he'll finally, he's worse than Peaches, he'll finally get out the way.
But as he's displaying in the middle of the road, there are 4 hens: Ozella,
Which is the peacock,
little Ozella,
which is Edna. Uh-huh.
little O, and Crystal, and they're all around him.
Uh-huh.
As if he is the prince and they are his princesses. And he's showing out to all of them, and they're just looking
Oh,
at him
wow.
like, I should have shot a picture of it, but, you know.
Was Crystal throwing her tail up?
Oh, yes.
See, Crystal's a young female, and so her hormones are all screwed up, and they all do this. Young females will throw their tail up like a male peacock.
And a lot of times people think, oh, I've got a male.
Yeah, they do think they got a male.
But the females will display just as the males do,
Mm-hmm.
and especially this time of the year if they're young.
Right.
Little O has not really ever done that.
She did it a little bit last year.
Not like Crystal.
But not like Crystal.
Crystal is on it.
Crystal will show her tail off to anybody that will watch her.
And he's real impressed with Crystal.
He is impressed with Crystal.
I think he's more so impressed with her than he is Ozella.
He may be.
He sure gives her a lot of looks, and you see those two together a lot.
And the reason why we know Crystal's a girl is we had Robert Daybird Aviaries, who's a bird guru. She's sex-linked by her color.
Yeah,
And
I can't remember
I
what
can't
the breed.
remember either, but
I won't even
she's
go
white,
there.
and the white coloration
Indicates that she's a
girl.
female.
Yep.
And we're glad, too, because had it been a male, we probably would have had to find a home for him.
Yep.
We don't want to take a chance of any peacocks fighting. As of so far, we have not seen Ozella missing. She's here.
She's here, but she's going crazy places. You can see her walk in the woods, and she's doing that honk.
Yeah, she is. He honk. That's what I describe it as. He honk real loud.
Real loud. So she's doing something, and she's walking her, which is uncharacteristic.
But it's about the time of the year.
It's peacock season.
It is. And I really, really hope she doesn't go deep into the woods this year like she did last year.
Like last year, yeah, I know it.
You
Me
know,
too.
the trough that the geese laid in and actually still are laying in, but something's getting the eggs before I get to them. Maybe Marycarl. But that trough is still under there because I want the geese to feel secure when they lay, so I leave it there. There have been a couple of times when I've walked up on Ozella and Little Oat in that trough.
That would be great.
It would be great because we could possibly put something around it to secure her and protect her. Marycarl and I were actually talking about it today, how lucky we were that something did not get her.
You know, probably.
I know you were thinking every time you went into the woods to check on her that she wasn't going to be there.
She wasn't going to be there. You know, with the recent emergence of one fox sighting in the last month, there's a chance if she does lay in the woods and we happen to find it, that's the other thing. Finding her is hard.
Yeah. You just about got to follow her and her not know it.
Yeah. Like we did last year. We got super lucky.
Yeah.
I may just gather all the eggs for her safety.
Depending on where she lays, it's just about going to have to be done because
for her safety.
You know that Little O is going to stay with her.
Little O's going to stay with her, and she's a lot smaller.
And she's vulnerable just as her mama would be sitting on eggs. So I think we'll have to wait and cross that bridge when we get there. But it is so risky with her sitting in the woods.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's just a
how long is it? 30 days, basically?
Yeah.
Basically?
Yeah.
That something could get her. Because she didn't get up but like one time a day.
Yep.
And it was only for 10 minutes to
first
come.
thing in the morning to come get some feed and go sit back down.
Yep. And that's just, I mean, gosh, can you imagine us sitting in the woods for that long and not seeing a predator that would potentially want our eggs?
Then once we moved to our new place and we talked about building a strictly peacock pen that would be large enough where they can fly around and all that good stuff.
I would call it a sanctuary because we don't want it to be pen-like to them. We want it to be large enough to where they feel free range.
Right.
But it would be a wild wilderness type setting.
Then we would let her sit on the eggs in there because she'd be protected.
Yeah, and I don't want to take her eggs if we don't have to. But then again, I don't want her to lose her life.
Yep.
So it's just kind of something you'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. And maybe she'll skip out this year.
Maybe she'll skip out this year, but she sure is walking around in crazy places.
She is, and that baby still follows her everywhere.
And
I cannot tell the difference in her and the baby.
She's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, but
there's a little slightly coloration difference in the tail feathers, but that's because Edna is still got just a little bit of slight baby feather left.
I'm glad you can tell the difference because call me dummy. I just cannot tell the difference in her and her child. And the baby's only a year old.
Yeah.
Just now. Well, not even quite a year old.
And they're, 2 to 3 years old before they
before a female will lay, she's got to be at least 2 years, if not older, before they can lay. So we know it's not happening with Little O or Crystal this year.
No, it'll just be Ozella.
But I tell you what, Crystal was raised with a chick, and Marycarl named her Roomba for whatever reason.
I think it was because she was a chick. She would eat anything that fell on the floor, like the Roomba vacuum. I think that's right.
We'll ask her.
We'll have to ask her.
But anyway, they were raised together, and they are still best friends.
They are.
If you see Crystal, chances are you're going to see Scott, and you're going to see Roomba. And he likes Roomba, too.
Yeah, he does like Roomba.
He does. He pays her attention, too.
Yep. But Roomba goes everywhere just about Crystal goes.
And, we've had peacocks in the past, and every peacock that we've ever had has been I wouldn't say real flighty, but a lot more flighty than the ones we have now are.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, I could touch Scott anytime I wanted to.
You can get, and especially when he's got his tail up, you can really, because he can't see behind him because his tail's so big.
And he, Marycarl will go up behind him sometime and look at his feathers or touch or, he doesn't care.
No, he don't care. We could get pretty close to him with his tail down. I mean, he's about as friendly as a peacock could get, I would guess.
I just wonder what made him be so much friendlier than the other. I think it may be that there were multiple males.
Yeah, the first time we had it, I think we had 3 males and we had maybe 4 females.
I don't know, but having more than one male at one time, we learned was a no-no.
Was a no-no. They would fight amongst themselves. Then, I guess the one that was the bottom of the totem pole, he had to show some dominance to somebody. So he would beat up the roosters, and then he had like 3 or 4 hens he absolutely hated for whatever reason, and he would chase them on the whole property. Mm-hmm. Not just a little, I'm talking about he would chase them for 10, 15 minutes until he gathered them inside the coop.
And just beat them.
And he'd get them cornered, and he would just flail, and I'd get to run in there and make them stop. And finally I just said, look, y'all, we got to get rid of them. We can't continue to do this because he's going to kill some chickens.
And that was back when that group decided that they liked your garden and they needed it a lot more than we did.
They did.
And Jason went down one morning and there were a couple of peacocks in the garden and the garden was non-existent.
They wiped and it was like one of our best tomato seasons ever. And they totally just didn't.
I wish I could. I mean, I was not. I don't think it's funny at all that they ate the garden, but I wish I could have videoed it because you really couldn't see Jason getting mad like that. But I can still remember to this day me not saying anything but having my eyes up, like, uh-oh.
I was mad.
It was not good.
I was mad.
Because it was a lot of time and effort that goes into gardening.
That's it.
And then in one night, they have food. It's not like they were not starving by all means. They were not short on food. They saw an opportunity and they seized it.
It was like 30 minutes. It was like a 30-minute span when they ate all the tomatoes.
And so that's one reason we have the flags that are around the garden.
To help to deter them. And they could get in there if they wanted to.
Well, they could, but they really don't.
Hardly ever.
Hardly ever. If they do, it's almost like they fly off the barn and it's a mistake they land in there.
It is.
But
and I was so worried when we expanded the garden.
Yeah,
that was
so close to the barn.
Really close to the barn.
And then when they do, the couple of times that I've noticed that they've been in there, they are so worried about I'm somewhere I'm not usually supposed to be, and they're working on trying to get out the entire time, and they're not worried about eating anything. So
thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. But I do think that we are going to have to build that sanctuary for the
because
peacocks.
Our biggest fear is because they're so territorial that if we move them, they may try to come back here. And
I don't think there's a may to it. I think they would.
I think they would too.
I think they would.
Because they just hadn't grown up on that new farm. But if we give them a big, safe place to stay, it won't matter.
That's right.
Because they really, honestly...
They don't live in that big of an area.
Stays in a area that's...
He just doesn't roam.
He does not. He goes from the barn to that chicken pen, and that's it.
Well, I'd say he spends most of his time in the road.
In the road. You're right. That's it. I mean, literally, that's it. I mean, y'all see our videos. Most every time when I see Scott and speak to him, he's in the road.
He has never, and I shouldn't even say this because you know what happens when you say never, crossed the creek.
Never crossed the creek. I've never
we have
seen
no kind
him
of
in the
barrier
woods.
That keeps our animals from going across that creek, but it's almost like they see an imaginary line and they don't cross it. They stay on our house side of the property.
Yeah.
And
he's never been in the woods. I mean, he stays, I'm telling y'all, he stays in the area that's the size of the goat pen.
He does. And I mean, if he was locked up, his area would be bigger than that.
Yeah, it would be bigger than that.
And we could, as long as we keep females and one male, we can keep them all together and just build one giant Cog Hill peacock sanctuary. Yep. That's a lot. That's a mouthful.
That was a mouthful.
Hope we don't have to make a sign that says that.
No, we don't have to make
Printing company's not going to be happy. Well, I think that about sums it up as far as eggs and peacocks.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope people found that interesting to know that there are different types of eggs.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people now are owning chickens that have never owned them before.
It is crazy right now. We just know from, doing it for a long time. And then we have people that are friends and sponsors at the same time. And normally when we could just call and ask for something or ask for, you can't do that right now.
Well, I tell you, I've been trying to buy another GQF brooder because we have a lot of chicks right now, and they are just backed up. You can't get one. I don't care if you're Cog Hill Farm or if you're John Doe.
Yeah.
You can't get one. And it's just that there's that many people that are interested in growing their own and raising for theirself and living a better life. If anything that this virus has brought, it is people knowing more about where their food comes from and living off the land, I guess you would
growing
say.
their own food and that kind of
Because
stuff.
the interest has just skyrocketed.
Skyrocketed.
And I hope that doesn't come down. I hope that part of what this disease has done for us as a country will continue to grow and make us realize how much more we need to depend on ourselves rather than, manufacturers and companies that produce mass amounts of things. We can grow for ourselves and be healthy.
And then maybe too, people found an awesome hobby that they truly enjoy that they had no idea that they did.
Right. Well, I have had several emails that say that they've never raised chickens in their life, and because of us, they started out with a few chickens.
Yep.
And, that just brings a smile to your face.
It does. It really, really does. Gardening's the same way. I cannot tell y'all how. Here recently, I've had several ladies send me emails and said they are so excited because they ordered some green stalk planters and they didn't have a big enough area to ever have a garden, but they're going to put them on their patio, or they had an apartment, and that just makes you smile.
Right. I played softball and volleyball and basketball and all kind of sports growing up, and because I had a friend that started playing softball, that didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
I could care less, but
Right.
just knowing that you have somebody that because you do something that they think they might enjoy it means just the
It
world.
does.
I
It
don't know
does.
how that relates, but
Yeah.
it's meaningful.
It really is meaningful. It does. And it makes us doing the podcast and the videos so much worth it,
I never look at anything that we do as a chore.
No.
It's our daily life, and it's not going above or beyond anything other than what we really do in real life. We're not actors. We're not making things up. We don't discuss a script. It's our actual real life.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to realize is, we're just normal people living normal lives, and, we enjoy what we do, and maybe you will too.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
So get out there, get you a chick or two, and plant you a Bella Rosa or a Sun Gold tomato, and see if you can't put a smile on your own face by growing your own and producing your own.
You will, because it's so rewarding.
It is. It's rewarding. So,
It's so
and
rewarding.
it kind of gets you out of that slump.
It does get you out of that slump. And it gets you outside and gets you breathing fresh air. And
You can't
it's
go
good for you.
wrong.
Can't go wrong.
If it doesn't make, try it again.
That's right. All right. Camera's fixing to go dead.
I know this.
Y'all be good.